content over everything.
James.
Taiwanese girls get raped, but not the British one. Explain that to me.
Now run that. It is because basically, if you've come from a fat, broken family, your dad drinks, your mum's looking after you, your dad's looking after you.
Are you recording?
And I'll get someone in.
Hold on, can I just explain something?
And basically,
one of you guys.
We want to take you out. You spend a bit of money. You say a couple of kind words.
Can I just, because we got content over everything. Big up. Oh, sorry, Bargin. Sorry, bros. Sorry, bros. Now, this is content over everything, which is one of the main channels of Speakers Corner, one of the most impartial. And for months, I've been talking about grooming as a lone voice, and people are saying I'm a liar. Where's my bag? Yeah, saying I'm a liar, and what I'm saying is exaggerated. That even my situation, my own family, that I'm lying about it. I will say one thing to these guys. Mohan Singh knows about my case.
Yeah, I know.
And so I'm not going to say who or what happened, but he knows about my case. Sikh Youth knows about my case, so it's all been verified. And like I said, with Sikh Youth UK, I did this magazine, and here is what I did, yeah? And I didn't sugarcoat who the perpetrators were, so stop bitching and whining on the thingy, because that's the situation. Now today, normally I'm by myself, so the reason why I bring content over is that for once I've got my Sikh brothers that have come down, and they are from the Sikh Awareness Society, which is dealing with grooming cases themselves. So these guys are on the ground, yeah, so big up to these guys, and big up to Mohan Singh. And so I'm gonna speak to them about the realities of what I've been saying, yeah, and to show you that I am not an Islamophobe walking around lying. I am just telling you facts that within each community, we have issues. In our community, I've talked about alcoholism and caste, we have our own issues, and within the Pakistan or the Asian Muslim community, it's grooming. And there's no way to get around from that. Since the 80s, I know 3 people that went to prison for beating up groomers, and I'll tell you their names after so you will know who they are. And from your perspective, like a lot of people say it's not happening now. Is it still happening today?
It is still happening. It's happening on a large scale. Even myself, before I joined, I thought to myself, yeah, is it really happening? But once you're in there and you see all the cases, you see the people, the parents, you see the kids, you understand that it is actually happening. I'm not like, I'm religious, I'm a Sikh, but I want to say like my friend, I'm not practicing Sikh. You know, I ain't got a beard, I ain't got the turban, I don't wear the kirpan, I eat meat, you know what I mean? But so it's not like I'm anti anything. I've got a lot of Muslim friends, but you know what I mean? But I see it is happening, and most of them is Muslims grooming gangs. You know what I mean?
Control this for you once.
Yeah. So the thing is, like, what I want to kind of say is that for months I've been like a lone wolf at Speaker's Corner, constantly getting berated, people coming up to me saying, Raj, you're a liar. And I know it hurts what we're saying, because no one wants to be told that your community is committing these acts. But it's a fact. Yeah, this has not been going on for 10 years, not 20 years, not 30 years, but 40 years. And the Sikh community has been very, very, very proactive in trying to deal with it. A lot of people say to me, oh, why not go to the mosque? In the 80s, the Sikhs used to go to the mosques and the imams and try and speak to them about this epidemic, and we were told there's not a problem. Now, there is a problem, because these guys, like myself, have seen it firsthand with our own eyes, that the Sikh community, and I'll say the word attacked, because a lot of people say I use loaded words, but when your girls are being targeted, yeah, and then groomed. Remember, grooming isn't because a lot of people say they're going out, like they're going out with guys. No, when you're getting a girl,
it's a style of a social media.
So
Facebook.
tell me what the grooming that you've dealt with.
Basically, it's all different sources, from schools. For Facebook, a lot of social media, you know what I mean? It's not about clubbing, it's all about, you know, a lot of social media. That's it. You could come from a broken family where your mum and dad not paying you attention. And what they do, they see that, couple of toys, take you out, spend a bit of money on you, and then that's it, starts off like that.
Yeah, I try and explain to you, because people use this kind of narrative that the girls have to be on the streets, and this is why they're being... Now, let me say something. With my own family situation, and you guys, I'll tell you who it is, and you will know, the family was rock solid. What was the problem was that the girl was vulnerable mentally. And so she did not think she was pretty, she didn't think she was attractive. And so when you have these like these guys, these rapists that I call them, going around, and they then see this girl, they saw the vulnerability, and they plied her with alcohol, drugs and stuff, and then manipulated her, and then prostituted her. And this is what you see, because the Sikh community, in terms of our particular kind of like our community. When it comes to the white community, I hear people say, oh well, they let their girls out do this and that. That's not an excuse to go and rape girls. Yeah, just because a girl's out on the street, yeah, and she's doing X, Y, Z, it doesn't mean she should be abused. But even with the Sikh community, our girls here mostly come from quite a good family, don't they?
Yeah, very good. Listen, I've heard of some cases the girls come from very, very good families. You know, they're not lacking in nothing. But I think some of them, they're targeting these families. Yeah. I mean, that's how it seems. They're targeting these families, that they're well-off families, well-off girls, and then that's it. But it's just changed the thought process. So.
Yeah, because the thing is, like, for me, when I admit, when I was growing up, I'm 43 now, so when I was growing up, I used to hear stories. And I was like, oh, there's stories, and then I would hear, one or two of my friends went to prison because they beat up groomers, and they were the ones that were vilified for beating up the groomers. Big up to my brothers, they know who they are. And now their lives are ruined, but the guys that done it were walking free. For years and years, everyone was saying that, oh, this is in your head, this is not happening, they're just going out and they're doing this. Obviously, since the white epidemic, with people then kind of seeing what happened, the reason I come Speaker's Corner is because for 10 years, I didn't say nothing because I was embarrassed. So I'm not embarrassed anymore, yeah? And the reason I'm not embarrassed, because for me talking about this shit, I want people to realize this is not a myth. There is an Asian Muslim grooming gang. I don't care how pissed off you get. I don't care if you start wetting your panties and crying and bitching. All you need to do, yeah, is to get hold of the problem, get the perpetrators, yeah, and instead of men going to prison dealing with the situation because you won't deal with it, you deal with the situation. Would you not agree with that?
Yeah. I mean, I'd say, like, cases are coming to SAS on a daily basis. We're not going out looking for these cases or trying to make stories up that don't exist. They come to us. Families are coming to us. Now, people might say, well, we don't hear about it. Well, you're not going to hear about it. I don't do drugs, therefore I don't know no local drug dealer. But if I did do drugs, I'd probably know everybody. But are we going to say there ain't a drug issue around any town in my area? Of course there is. Unless you're involved in it, you don't know about it. And that's the same with this. Unless you're involved in it, you don't know about it. No one's putting it on, my daughter's been taken by a grooming gang, put it outside their front window. No one's going to do that.
And I need
They're ashamed of it. They're putting it under the carpet. Yeah. Who else is talking about it? Sikhs don't want to talk about it.
It's the honour culture as well, which is causing problems. Now, I want to say something. There's all these bullshit videos, yeah, addressed to me saying, Sikh grooming gangs, Raj Speaker's Corner, what do you think about this? Now, a gang here is an organised group. An individual here doing abuse here, they should be condemned. And any Sikh that does abuse, they will be condemned and we will ostracise them, yeah? They will be condemned for what they've done. They've done it, SAS has done it, Mohan Singh has done it. A gang is an organised group. When you have people from Manchester grooming a girl and then that girl here decides to go to, say, Leeds, how is it that group here can still get her in Leeds? Because they're a gang, they're organised, they all know each other, it's a network. And so I'm sick and tired of, you'll see a lot of videos targeted at me because I'm speaking out against it, that, you know, Sikhs have got grooming gangs. Find me a gang, more than 3 to 4 people, organised. You can have individual abusers. Yeah, so instead of fobbing it off onto me that I'm lying, listen to the guys that are working on the field, yeah, and CQ UK as well. Now, from my understanding, CQ UK at the moment with Dipper and them lot are still dealing with maybe 40 cases, yeah, ongoing. How many kind of roughly do you think cases you're still dealing with on an ongoing basis on average?
By Morton must be doing at least about 20-30 cases.
Did you hear that?
That I know of. But like I said, by Morton,
so these are from
he's constantly driving up and down the country.
And they're saying they're dealing with 30
he's
cases.
non-stop.
Yeah.
Him and Kuli, the rest of the team, I don't think they even get a day off. They're just non-stop dealing with cases, phone calls, going to families' houses. So it is a lot out there, and they're getting cases every day.
So what do you guys do then? Obviously, do you do the legal side?
They say it's a culture.
We would go there, help with the seminar, help with the seminar speeches. We'll go with the Oscars, go close to the families, meet the families.
Can I say something? Because a lot of people say I'm lying about this particular aspect of grooming. When we, as Sikhs, you can tell, yeah, look, he's Sikh, he's Sikh, he's Sikh, I'm Sikh, he's Sikh, yeah. Hold on. But all of us are at different stages of our faith, so not all Sikhs wear turbans. One thing we do wear is a qada. It's our article of faith. And so what happens, I've been saying that since the 80s, we have religious festivals, yeah? Remember the religious festivals, like Vaisakhi, Nagar Kirtans? And we have Muslim guys, Asian Muslims, going to these festivals, pretending to be Sikh, wearing the qada, and you can see we can't tell the difference. They speak the same language, and what they do, they then chat up our Sikh girls and then groom them through that process as well. This is not a myth, it's a fact. Even recently, just like last year, in Birmingham, they found guys that were pretending to be Sikh. Now, you may think that, oh, what's the big problem with this? Look, this is a religious festival. It's like me going to an Eid festival, yeah, and there's girls there pretending to be Muslim and then picking girls up. It's unacceptable. Well, yeah, they could be young, they could be 14, 15. But
if they were 22, would that be a problem?
No, it's still a problem.
Still a problem.
Look, when you're going to a Sikh festival to target girls.
If I went to a Sikh festival to pick up a girl,
but if you
22-year-old,
no, but I'm saying if they're pretending to be Sikh. So they're doing it by a false pretense. So they're saying I'm Sikh.
It's not criminal though.
It's not criminal, but it's disrespectful.
Well, if they were underage, then clearly not right. And
but then they groom them and prostitute them. So their motive isn't to go out with the girl. Their motive is to get her, and then what they will do is then groom them. And people are going to say that, why is it that Sikhs are being targeted? One of the reasons why Sikhs are being targeted, our faith treats our women equally. Yeah. And so we don't have our women stuck indoors all day. Like, we allow our, sorry guys, I know it looks like I'm bashing you guys, but you do have a more strict, I like this brother here, I feel like get out of the shop because you're looking at me, man. I can't say bad things when you're looking at me. So I've got a conscience, So with our community, we believe in equality of women. So we mix at the Gurdwara, we mix together. And one of the things I've been saying, the reason why the Muslim community Asian Muslim community has this problem, they have an issue with sexuality being repressed, in the sense that, in the mosque they don't mix, in the outside they don't really mix in terms of that. And when you have a very strict kind of up and go from them, and one of the things about Sikh people is that, we don't restrict our women like the way the Muslim community does. My sisters all went to university, my sisters all have a job and stuff like that, and they're quite independent. Would you kind of agree with that we're targeted because of our kind of, let's just say, kind of more equality within our faith, that our girls are more easily targeted than other groups?
And also they're non-Muslim, so...
Yeah, they're non-Muslim, so...
Yeah, that's what it is more than anything else. The non-Muslims, we probably live in closer proximity to them. We pretty much come to the same country at the same time.
But you guys are vocal.
I think, let's clear something up. It's not about we've got an issue with a Muslim going with a Sikh girl. I mean, if the girl is 16, 17, 18 and she chooses to go with it, that's a different story. But it's what happens afterwards when recordings are made, put it onto websites and so forth. Illegal activities like that. That's when she's been used and abused and then made and passed along several men. That's an issue. If a girl chooses off her own back to go with a Muslim and she's 16 and above, there's not a lot we can do.
This is one thing. Let me just say something so we can go on from him. I have a problem with a lot of Muslim people, Asian Muslims, coming up to me, Raj, you're just going out. If your idea of going out here is to get a girl, get her drunk and then pimp her out, that is not going out. So you need to change your mindset. When you're going in, there's whole cases of whole families here. There's one case with 4 brothers here that were pimping out a 12-year-old girl and they've all gone to prison. There are cases with uncles and nephews. So within the culture, I'm going to say it, within your culture, there is a normality to this grooming and it needs to be stopped. Yeah, because I'm sick and tired of it. The Sikhs are sick and tired of it. I don't want none of my brothers going to prison for all this kind of bullshit. If the people that need to deal with it, do you not agree it needs to be within the community? Because I know one thing, we always have talks at temples and stuff, at Gurdwara and stuff, but how many times has an imam spoken to his congregation about this topic? I would love to know, right down below.
Can we just ask your brothers here, because we know your opinion on this.
Hold on, let me just talk 1 second.
I just want to...
Something I saw today, this morning. I was just going to the shop, DIY shop, needed some light bulbs. I saw a Sikh guy with a beard in the car, sitting next to the lady with the hijab. And I was thinking, when it stops recording, just thinking, this is what it's about. It's about respect. They're not a couple. I know that for a fact. I knew the guy. They weren't a couple. It's about respect. Maybe they finished from work, they drop her off, and that's how we were. And that's how we've always lived. I grew up north. Far up north, a place called Preston. I was the only Sikh family, living within a big Muslim community. we never had any issues, we never had any problems. But I knew back then, boys used to talk. They used to talk about, oh, we had one white guy last night. So what do you mean you had one white guy? Well, yeah, me, blah, blah, blah. So we're talking shit. You know, that was back then. I'm talking about, God, 20 odd years ago. Yeah. But these things happen.
But you direct your attention here at the corner, so I want to ask your brothers, towards Islam. Right?
No, I don't.
No, you have done. You said you've got to sort your community.
No.
You have a couple.
No. I've said that Islamic culture, the repressiveness of its homosexuality influences people. So when you're telling a group of people, like a group of men, lower your gaze, don't look at women. Women need to be covered from head to toe. Right. Then they're walking around in a society where women are behaving not like that. They may then deviate in their behaviour. That doesn't mean Islam is wrong. It just means that the person can't handle that restriction. It's like a Catholic priest being told he can't have sex and then he starts abusing boys. Right. You have a very restrictive culture within...
But you can see why they're coming back at you, right?
Because I don't care if they're coming back at me. Because Shamsi's come up to me and said, don't say it.
I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying, I wanted to hear what these brothers thought of that. Do you see that this is an Islamic problem within the culture, within the religion itself?
No, culture. You need to say culture.
Well, yeah, okay. If you're talking culture, it's Pakistani, Bangladeshi.
No, but I've said something good, can have bad repercussions.
No, right.
So I need to clarify because it's a loaded question you're going to put towards them. So when you have somebody saying to somebody, a woman should dress modestly, that's good. When you're telling somebody not to drink, that's good. Because I don't drink. If you tell somebody to lower your gaze and not sexualize a woman, that's good in itself. But it can also be very what I call kind of oppressive to certain men. Yeah. So one man might be able to control his desires. You then have another man that's very highly sexually charged. He goes out to the West, he's out on a Friday night, he sees a girl that's not behaving the way he's been told a woman should behave, and then he may then act out and see her as fair game that, all right, this girl's a kuffar, she's this and that, and she's behaving like this, I'm going to do what I want. Does that mean it's to do with Islam as a faith? No, it means that it's to do with a culture which is repressive, which is influenced by Islam.
Right, what do you think of that?
Across more cases than that. Yeah. I mean, if you're getting all Muslims doing it, then what does that say?
Well, are you though? Can you confirm that?
Yeah, most of the cases I get are Muslim.
But is that not because they are very close?
No, it's not.
You said
it's all different towns. Different towns in the UK.
So you're saying where you've got other ethnic groups, in your experience, and where they are integrated the same as the Muslims or the Pakistani Bangladeshis, you're saying you have the same.
I believe everyone's got their own opinion on this. Rachel's got his opinion.
Well, we want to hear your opinions.
My opinion is not that. I mean, I wouldn't say it's to do with their religion whatsoever or their culture. It's irrelevant. That is what I personally believe. What I've got an issue with. We're not the same people. He's probably got different. I don't believe it's got anything to do with Islam or their upbringing. What I would say is, when I do mention this within Muslim circles, close friends, they will say they're not Muslims, and I agree with them. I don't believe they are. They're not acting out Islam.
So they're predators. They're
predators, yeah, regardless of their religion. And you have good and bad in every society. Now, what I do have an issue with is when people are coming up to Raj and saying, "Oh, it doesn't exist," because it does exist. What I've got a problem is people just trying to push it under the carpet like it doesn't
they did not, mate.
Yeah.
We agree.
When people turn around and say it's got nothing to do with Islam, I agree with them. Yeah, it's nothing to do with Islam. I don't think any religion thing that would really preach.
Can I just say something? Hold on, one second before I go on, because I've always said if someone's a devout Muslim like Shamsi or one of these brothers like Hussein and they're going to the mosque and they're doing this, they're not going to be going out grooming. But to say that these perpetrators are not Muslim at all and have no connection to Muslims, in my opinion, is wrong. Even a Sikh, they got on the internet of Sikhs doing abuse. They are still from a Sikh background. We can't say they're not Sikh. That's not for us to say. It's for the person. When they go to prison and they write down they want halal, they want to pray 5 times a day.
It's very divisive.
But it doesn't matter if it's divisive. The truth is the truth. It doesn't matter. The truth is the truth.
But if the common factor is Muslim, Pakistani Muslim, then that's a common factor.
You're speaking to people that are dealing with on the floor cases.
And that's where the problem has come from.
They both have different interpretation of why it's happening. But at the end of the day, the people that are doing it, they have said, are from a Muslim background. Whether they're following Islam is irrelevant. The fact is that particular community is attacking my community. And I'm not having it.
If you go online and look at the groomers, look at the pictures yourself, you see
there are certain ethnicities.
Look at their names.
Like some of them got beard, some are clean shaven. You know what I mean? You look at yourself and think, you know what I mean? How do they look to you?
But their society is not homogenous. That's what they would argue. Like in the same way that if they were white
It's
pedophile.
like him and me. Say, like you would look at me and think it could be anything. But you look at him, he thinks it's Sikh. Now, if I had a long beard, you'd think I was a Muslim for short hair. So if I'm telling you that guy's Muslim, you have to go by.
But it's very hard from an outsider's point of view. This brother has said he doesn't feel it's an Islamic problem.
No, but it doesn't mean that this is where you're hold on, James. I'm going to be pretty brutal with you. You're making the situation. You're conflating it with something I've never said. So let's get
said it again.
no. Let's get away from that. I've said that the religion does influence culture, and so the culture is very repressive sexually. They are in the West now,
right?
And so you have certain people. Some guys are very horny, and some guys that have no sexual drive.
Let me give you one example.
So one person will be affected, by this repressiveness in one way, and another person when he sees a girl,
It sounds good.
Let me give you an example.
But it's not backed up with evidence.
Let me give you an example. Sikhism. A practicing Sikh does not drink, but our culture is drinking. But the religion is not drinking.
I wouldn't blame Sikhism for alcohol.
No, we haven't.
No, I'm saying I wouldn't. I'm saying I wouldn't.
I haven't either.
Big on drink, but our religion, you don't have to touch your top.
Totally prohibited.
No, we couldn't blame Sikhism for alcoholism.
But we could still say that people are Sikhs.
Yeah, they're still
And the
Sikhs.
Muslims are saying
So
their culture for
hold on. The BBC done a documentary, and it said Punjabi Sikh alcohol problem.
Big alcohol.
Now the reason being is because you can't say Punjabi problem because Muslims don't really drink, Hindus don't really drink. You have to specify it. So when I say Asian Muslim grooming gangs, they may not be acting out in an Islamic way, but they're still from a Muslim background.
We don't deny it.
I know. So what I want people to understand is that the reason why I'm so frustrated is that there's a documentary in 1988 here that was on BBC Asia, and the documentary is exactly what Muslims are saying, Asian Muslims are saying now that we were saying then. You have Sikhs on there going, our girls are being prostituted, XYZ. The Asian Muslims, and they had their faces blacked out, so I wonder why, and the Sikhs never, so they're guilty in my opinion. And the Asian Muslims are saying, oh no, we're going out with those girls, and the Sikhs are not happy. Yeah. So this particular narrative, are we all lying? Yeah. Are the Hindus lying?
Hold on. Two issues here.
No, what I'm trying to say, it's been going on for such a long
we
time.
agree. No one's denying
that
it.
For you, it may just seem like a relatively new
Raj,
issue.
I'm totally
For me,
accepting
as I was
what's happened.
growing up here, I would hear stories all the time. And so for me as somebody, I always say that, people are going to say, oh Raj, you hate Sikhs. No, I don't. I love my people. I may not like all Sikhs. That's the difference. I love Sikhism.
But you're not blaming Sikhs.
But what I'm trying to say to you is that you cannot shirk your responsibility. The conviction rates here, in terms of the people that are being convicted, are 85% from a particular community. Yeah, my community is being affected, and I say the word attacked. Yeah, for me, it's an attack on our people. So I get very frustrated with other people.
No way.
Has it been recording?
Oh yeah, you do. Yeah, still rolling.
Can we do now? We got the gents.
Hey James, we're in. Somebody needs to hold
Here,
this.
go on. I'm not going to talk now. You lot talk to me.
Hey Raj, tell your cameraman to put down your
Leon's
camera.
being biased again over there.
I know.
Is it possible? I'm not saying that you guys are psychologists or anything. But can you share with us the mental, obviously the physical torture, they get literally tortured, but can you share with us what mental torture they go through perhaps afterwards, and how difficult it is for them to run a normal life when you guys have got involved?
But the victims I know of, they've left the country. So they've left the country because can't live there anymore. Starting from scratch, new life, new friends. It messes you up mentally. It destroys you mentally. Some of them afterwards, they'll turn to drink and drugs. Because they can't cope with it. And some of them, they can never probably get married or leave a successful life or jobs, because mentally you can never ever recover. As a normal person.
I mean, it depends how far it gets. A lot of these girls end up breaking a lot of family bridges, they can't rebuild again, end up doing things under the influence of these groomers, which they find difficult going back to the families. And if you've got no family stability, it's very difficult in life. So it's a very big issue for the parents to take these girls back after some of the things these girls have done and the influence of the groomers.
It also, it's very hard for a female that goes through such things to ever be close to a man again in a certain way, because it destroys her.
I mean, it's rape.
Yeah, it is.
That's what it is. It's rape. It's child rape. Is what it is.
I think it's a little bit more than that.
When you're passed around,
Yeah, it's
one-on-one
despicable.
rape.
It's despicable.
And also they torture them in terms of, you know, everyone has an attachment, you know, so when that attachment has been traumatized, you know, they can never have a relationship.
It's incomprehensible, man. 100%.
Yeah, you can't imagine what they go for.
But, you know, I'm asking questions because what's happening here is what's happening to Raj is he's putting this ethnicity on it, he's putting this religion on it, which is true, the statistics show that, but you can understand the backlash from all those people within those religions that find those crimes heinous themselves.
Can I just add to that? When you take into consideration France, Germany, Norway, what's happening in Italy, all these different European countries where women are being raped by immigrants from Muslim countries, there's no fucking argument.
Right.
For me.
So can we?
Poland. Yeah, look, Poland are a bit more. They're a bit more Punjabi-fied. They're a bit more like hungry. Like we're not putting up with it anymore. It's like, I can entertain any argument, but when you bring Europe together, whether there may not be grooming that we know about in Europe, but there's rape happening from those type of people from Tunisia, from Syria, from Iraq. They're from everywhere.
We cannot deny the ethnicity issue. We can't deny them.
My
there
point
is
was that
a religion concept, but
I'm backing Raj up into when Raj is saying there's a problem with a group of people following a certain ideology. There has to be some merit to him saying that. What else is there? What else synergy is there?
But not accepting it.
I'm saying that.
Clarify your position.
I'm saying it's incredibly dangerous and divisive.
I agree.
To do what? To do what?
Draw attention to something when the figures are very small.
What do you mean they're very small?
In relation to the overall population of Muslims or Pakistani, Bangladeshi.
That's the only people you know that have been convicted. Let me say
300
something.
people, for
Hold on,
example, is a very small.
Let me say something to the camera. After 40 years, there's only been one conviction from a Sikh girl. 40 years, one conviction, but there's been thousands of cases. Do you know why? Because we have a problem with honor culture that you will never understand. Instead of going to the police, they ship the girl off to another country. They put her to another town. And so when you're saying the conviction rate, that's just like a small little
But you
speck.
understand where I'm coming from, right?
If you was to get all the Sikh girls here and Hindu girls that have been raped here, it would be in the tens of thousands. Yeah, so it's our problem as well. As a community, we have a problem with honor, and I keep saying that we have to take responsibility in the sense that when a problem happens, instead of dealing with it and going to the police and doing it head on, we've gone through the vigilante route, and our brothers have gone prison. People that I know personally have gone prison, and that was not the right way. Even though what they did, in my opinion, was the only route they had at the time. Yeah, and it was a police fault for not dealing with it. So you will not, as a white man, obviously you're white, you will never understand.
Check.
You will never understand, the honor culture that is within the Asian community, which affects all of the communities.
Right, but
So even within the Muslim community, instead of dealing with a problem by saying we're going to shop our nephew in or we're going to shop my brother in, they would rather just keep it under the carpet because of honor, and that makes a problem snowball into a massive problem.
But when you bring this to the attention and start saying we have an issue with this religion,
I didn't say that.
no, in a way, Raj, in a way you've said that. So when you do that,
No, he didn't say it in a way.
He did in a way.
You know what? I'm pointing out a fact. Let me
So
say
what
something.
about solutions?
Let me
Let's
say
talk about
something to you.
solutions.
Why is it that we need SAS? Now, I'm going to ask you a very
Because the authorities are failing
I'm
you.
going to ask you a very important question.
The authorities
Hold
are
on.
failing you.
Why is it that we have two groups here? One is called SAS, Sikh Awareness Society, that are dealing with 30 cases, and why is it we got CQ UK that go around the temples? And it's very sad. I had to go to the temple. I met the guy that run this organisation. He had to do in a temple to girls' mothers, telling them about groomers. This should not be the case in our temples, that we have to warn our children about groomers. The temple is a place of worship, but because we're being attacked, and I will say the word attacked, we have to go to our place of worship to warn our children. And it's very sad that after 40 years we're still bashing our head against the wall, no one's listening, and I'm hoping with brothers coming down now more, and they may not agree with my message overall in the way I deliver it, they may not agree with me on a lot of issues, but 99.9% of Sikhs I've met agree with me on the grooming situation.
So what about, let's talk about solutions, because when you are pointing these things out, how does that help us solve the problem? What do we have to do? What has to happen?
Yeah, I was going to ask that.
Please.
Tell us how people can get involved, what solutions you do guys have. And I mean, I've offered my volunteer services.
Solutions. As a parent, the special courses by biomonitoring does, it really educates the parents on what to look out for, and you know what I mean, to be there for their child and things like that. Also schools, a lot of schools, like they want to go into schools and, you know, address the problem, but a lot of schools are turning their back on them.
Like schools can't even address FGM, so if they can't address FGM, they're not going to address it.
Essays coming in and talking about grooming, you know, so I think government...
It's because of political correctness.
There you go.
Can I ask you a question about the victims? When they report this to the police, how are they treated?
Ignored with what we've heard.
If it's a missing person, a girl's gone missing, like many times it has, the police won't do nothing, I think, till about 24 hours.
Yeah, 24 hours.
And even if they do, there's been times with biomonitoring, he's been out himself, he's got the Severdars out themselves, and they've found the girl.
Yeah, because I've seen the messages on Twitter.
Can I say how my situation happened? When we went to the police, they said, oh, it's a cultural issue, they're just going out.
Okay.
Now, this is the biggest problem. When we then go to the police, the perpetrators will then say, oh, they don't like it because they're going out with a Sikh girl. If you was going out with a girl and showing her respect and love, yeah, I'll accept it. But when you're pimping and prostituting her, you can't expect me to walk around and say, yeah, it's fine. And so, but what the police does, because of the PC culture and they're shit scared of rocking the boat, they will then let us deal with it. And this is why we have Sikh Awareness Society and Sikh Youth UK doing the work of the police. Yeah, this is not their job to be doing this.
And we all know the establishment are paedophiles anyway. Everyone from the MPs down to the local police being involved.
You need to sort your community.
Yeah, they do need to sort your community out.
That's a,
let me
explain what
hold
you
on,
mean
let me
by
say
that.
something.
What
Yeah,
does he mean
hold on,
by
let me explain. Now, people keep saying to me, what can we do? It's very simple. If there's a girl out here on a Friday night and she's had a few drinks, don't rape her.
No,
It's not rocket science.
It's not a solution, is it? The guy's a predator. He's not,
what I'm saying to you, what I'm saying to you is that it's very simple. If I see a girl here and she's 12, 13, I don't automatically think, oh, all right, she's on the street, I want to rape her, I want to groom her. So what you need to do is to sort your mindset out. What they need to do is the same way the Sikhs, same way the Sikhs. Oh my God,
Sikhs, Manny, that's dangerous language, man.
The same way. Look, yeah, I'm going to say something. The fact that Mohan Singh, yeah, has to go into a Sikh temple and talk to our young girls, yeah, about the situation is very sad.
Yeah,
where is the Muslim community going into these mosques talking to the young men about not doing this? Because I'm sick and tired of Mohan Singh you know, these guys, it's their full-time job now having to deal with these issues. It's not stopping. If it was stopping, I've said to people, the day I'll stop talking is when these two organisations shut down. When Sikh Youth UK is not there and SAS is not there, I'll shut up. Otherwise, I'll talk for the next 100 years if I have to.
But surely, Raj, the people that should be reacting to these guys are the British authorities. They're the people that are failing you. They're the primary problem, surely.
The cases, the police and local councils have been involved.
They've been facilitating.
They've been involved.
They're the enemy, right, of this situation.
I saw one video from one of the Sikh channels where the Sikh girl said that a police officer was part of the gang that raped her.
Right. So isn't this the thing we should be Shouldn't we point in the finger at the authorities? Aren't they the primary facilitators of this?
If you're sad like me and you put yourself through reading all the cases, all the social workers are
They
involved.
should be in prison.
Because what they do when we say, for example, I'm the group of guys, we find out like, yeah, this has happened, and the guy lives there. We go around and give him the kicking. Yeah.
It's illegal.
Or
how long did it take you?
say, for example,
Rob,
the
if you
bloke
do
brings
that, it's
up,
illegal.
I'm with my girlfriend and she's under threat. This is an honour killing that's going to take place. Then the police will come after us.
No, but can I say something to you, James?
So switch it.
Can I say something to you?
I don't blame you
Hold
for
on, James.
vigilantism.
I want to say something, yeah? Hold on, bro. I want to say something. Sikhs, yeah, are not cowards, yeah? We're not going to stand around here watching our girls getting raped left, right and centre. And when it comes to the point, in 2013, 8 Sikhs went to prison because they rushed
But we don't want you in prison.
But what I'm saying to you is that you cannot keep on pushing us, yeah, and saying to us we're lying without us.
I'm not saying you're lying,
What I'm
brother.
saying, no, but people do here.
Yeah.
And the point is that you cannot keep on pushing us and expecting us to just keep saying, okay, it's a lie. This problem has been going for 40 years. As long as I can remember, the stories have been happening. What I'm saying to you is that I don't want no more Sikh brothers going to prison for this. This is why I come here and I speak about it. Yeah, people say to me to shut up, I'll never shut up.
So we agree that we can't call for vigilantism,
but
right?
what is happening here? Last week or the week before?
My batch is about to die. You're right, my batch is about to die. It's my last batch is still.
Yeah.
Man, I would do exactly as you did. I would do the same. But I can't call for it.
I don't know, you don't see.
I cannot call for it because it's
But
dangerous, it's divisive, it's
can I say something? Well, I had 2 Pakistani guys come down there, what we call Muslim Muslim guys come around the week, and they said to me, Raj, please stop talking about this because it's affecting my community. And my message to those guys, I like you, but the fact is, yeah, it's a fact. If it affects your community negatively, that's not my problem because it's affecting my community negatively. We will not stop talking about it openly. We don't care about PCness. Yeah, the perpetrators are from one community. If it was white people doing it and it was a mix of people, I would start.
We're human beings. I'm a human being. Like you. Why say you and us? You're a divider. You're a divider.
The groomers are dividers. They seem to find the Sikh girls
with the Asian culture.
I've said that as well.
The groomers seem to be able to differentiate between Muslim girls and non-Muslim girls pretty quickly. If they're grooming girls, how come they never groomed the Muslim girls?
Says they're not.
You mentioned earlier. I've never heard.
But your ignorance is not a proof of it. Your ignorance. Do they not groom white girls? Do they not groom? Sorry, do they not? Right, but then he's making it out.
When Raj labels them with the Muslim title, they seem to be offended then.
Are they only grooming Sikh girls?
No. I never said that.
Right, so there's no right. So there's this polarization of it being from one community affecting everybody else. No, listen. I see it to be it's an Asian problem.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's
not a Thai problem. It's not a Chinese problem. Yeah, and they're Asia. China is Asia. Japan is Asia.
Well, then it's a subcontinent thing. If you want to narrow it to that, yeah. If you want to narrow it to that, then it's subcontinent. You don't see.
Don't game the BBC plays.
You can play whatever game. Sorry, brother. Have you ever seen someone that looks like me grooming a Sikh girl or grooming any other girl for that matter?
That's why I said Asian Muslim grooming gang. I said the word Asian Muslim grooming gang.
Are there not other Asians outside of Islam doing the same thing?
What I'm saying to you is that until you can find me a group of Sikhs here, a gang, going around abusing Muslim girls here, then we are not going to have this conversation because these guys here. Hold on.
If I showed you,
do you know who these guys are?
I don't know.
They're from an organisation called Sikh Awareness Society. They are dealing on the ground right now with 30 cases.
Okay.
They are not lying. They are dealing with real people.
I'm not saying that they're lying. What I'm saying is, if I found you a group of Sikh men who bound together, to groom girls, would you retract your sentiment or your statements about it being an Asian Muslim problem?
Hold on. It's about percentage. It's about the. It is about look. If you have a population of 1% here, and the crime they're doing is 1%, it's in relation to the.
Come take over everything from your humanity.
Man, say it straight. Man, don't listen to BBC. Man, don't listen to ITV.
Get rid of the Jews. Kill the Jews. That's what they mean.